So I wanted to film this video today because I know relocating to a new city can be really confusing. You never necessarily know where to end up. You don't know what areas are good, what's the best schools for the kids, what life generally is going to be like. So today we're going to do a little bit of a flyover video of White Rock, BC, to show you exactly what is in different areas, what you can expect living in different areas, some of the hot spots maybe around town that you want to check out, and really just help you get a better idea of what you might expect to find when you do choose to relocate to the White Rock neighborhood. I don't want to confuse this area either with South Surrey. There is an ongoing internal debate of the residents of Surrey and even the lower mainland about the differences between living in South Surrey and living in White Rock. This video is not about South Surrey today. We will do a video on South Surrey because obviously you get a lot of the same amenities. White Rock bordering right onto South Surrey. Both areas are actually on the peninsula of White Rock, but we are not going to get into South Surrey too much today. We are going to do a video on that, and if you want to check out our Living in South Surrey channel, you will find it there in the coming weeks. However, let's get into White Rock right now, because if you're thinking of relocating here, it's an awesome place, and I'm about to show you why. Just before we jump into everything, my name is Darren. I'm with the Germyn Group and McDonald Realty in Surrey, BC. And if this is the first time on our channel for you, we do everything to do with living in White Rock, living in Surrey, or living in South Surrey, British Columbia. If you want to keep up to date on all of that information, as well as anything going on with real estate provincially, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified anytime we release a video, so you're the first to know. If you are somebody that's thinking of relocating, we get calls from people all the time, texts from people all the time looking to come to our area. So whether it's in 9 days or 90 days or 9 months, doesn't really matter. Feel free to send us an email, shoot us a text, or give us a phone call, and we'll do everything we can to help make your move amazing. So anyways, let's jump into it now. All right, so let's jump right over to Google Maps here. And first of all, you can see this is really the city of White Rock. The city of White Rock is not overly big. It's just over 5 square kilometers and doesn't have an overly huge population either. It's got a population of about just over 20,000 at this point, but you can see it runs basically from 136 right here. We got this cool new tool here. Let's see if we like it and go from here. So it runs from basically 136 right here and goes all the way over to, oh, that was not what I was looking to do. Runs along 16th Avenue and goes all the way to the 160th Street area here. So pretty small area generally, but lots of really cool kind of niche communities in each that I'm going to go over right now. So they don't necessarily have a bunch of different names or anything like that. Actually, City of White Rock's kind of like a sub area anyway, sub area of the city of Surrey almost, it seems like. But starting with this area, you could really call it a variety of things. I kind of call this almost like the beach view area. These are kind of more traditionally bigger style lots in this neighborhood, and they're really quite nice for the most part. Like the older homes in this area, you're starting to see get like some more kind of premier homes built. And even if we just kind of jump onto the street here and see what's going on, you'll definitely see on any of these, you'll really see, you see older homes like this, which is kind of like the basement entry style. And then right next door, you've got something a little bit newer. So these beach view homes, they're hit and miss. Okay. So what I mean by that is the hill for White Rock really doesn't start until you kind of go a little bit further to the east here. So if I'm making sure everyone's following along here, which way east is, it's that way. So you really don't get a lot of the views until you get over there, but you do get some peekaboo views from this neighborhood. You'll notice that a lot of these streets run east-west, which means the front or backyards face either to the north or to the south. So it really kind of depends. It tends to be larger places that get built now rather than smaller places, and they also tend to be a little bit higher. So sometimes you'll get a little bit of a view just depending on whether they're where you're on the hillside and stuff like that. Down in this area, so I'm talking about like this area right here, right along Marine Drive. These are some really premier properties. So to give you an idea, a lot of these areas are gated. Okay, let's see if my little guy didn't jump on the thing there. So a lot of these areas are gated. Marine Drive can be generally busy. It's kind of busy, especially in the summer. But you see all this beautiful trees and whatnot, and then you can see that these are gated properties, but these are actually oceanfront properties. So these tend to be quite substantial lots. There's something getting built right there, but look at the view you would get. Now, one thing you can't really tell by looking at this for some of the homes in this area is kind of right around here. There's actually a large cliff. So this large cliff, these are not just like kind of like walkouts directly to the beach and kind of go for a swim type places. You have to go down a considerable grade to be able to access the beach, which you can, as you'll be able to see, obviously, is really, really quite close to to those homes. So beautiful views and whatnot. But in regards to this area, not a lot to walk through or walk to rather. Not a lot of shopping or anything. You're going to be jumping in your car for the majority of stuff. There is a little home hardware up here, and there's a corner market, and that's really about it. There's a liquor store too, which I guess is not too bad, but nonetheless, you're jumping in your car if you're going to want to go do anything. So as we move over to this area, this is the Centennial Park area. Now, if you haven't been to Centennial Park, it is incredible. I'm going to click on this because it's got some really cool photos and stuff here, but this is a playground. This is actually a playground that we take our kids to frequently, and it's just got absolutely everything. It's called the Generations Playground, and the kids just love it. So if you do have kids, being walking distance to this is really something quite special. That's a path through Centennial down to the waterfront, which we'll talk about in a moment. But up at this Generations Park, there's a really good shot of it. There's a lot there. It's kind of hard to see it all just from that one shot, but you've also got a running track, which oftentimes there's baseball being played because there's baseball fences. There's a lacrosse box. There's tennis courts. There's a lot of pickleball happening these days. There's an ice rink. There's a curling rink. Just tons and tons to do. There's a cute little guy. And it sides onto Centennial Forest. Okay. Centennial Forest is really, really great. So let's get out of this and let's check out Centennial Forest a little bit. So Ruth Johnson Park, Centennial Forest, Centennial Park, whatever you want to call it. You can see this green line here, this green line, and what that's showing you actually is the walking trail. So there's a few in here. This is a cool tool. There's a walking trail here. So actually you can take that trail directly down to the beach, and it's a really nice walk. A lot of people will take their dogs on it and stuff like that. And whether it's rain or shine, it's really, really quite nice to go and enjoy that. You can see there's some other trails in here, which is really cool. There's the running oval or park that I had mentioned there. So pickleball courts right there, and you got the arena and rink there. So that's the Centennial area. Now for homes in this area, it's the same idea. They tend to be a mix of older and newer. It's a relatively flat area, so some of these homes will get views, some of them won't. But if you jump on any old street here, you can kind of see that you've got brand new homes, and they're pretty nice. A lot of these new homes. There's older homes too. You can see this is kind of like your more traditional kind of basement entry that would be a little bit older there, but all different kind of shapes and sizes of homes and whatnot. So as you go through the neighborhood, this is really what most of the streets kind of look like in this area. There's no sidewalks or anything like that. It's an old neighborhood, right? You got to remember that. So an old beach neighborhood, so you get all these different types of properties and whatnot in here. But yeah, really, really quite nice, and that's generally what you're going to end up finding anywhere kind of near Centennial or Johnson Park there. So as we move across Oxford is interesting, and that kind of deserves maybe a little bit of a special mention because it is the steepest property in I believe it's Canada, I want to say. I'm trying to remember that, but like to give you an idea of this, I'm going to jump our little friend here right down onto Marine Drive, and you can see what it looks like looking up the hill here. It is, and that, believe me, that does not do it justice. It is incredibly steep, so much so that they usually will shut it down in the wintertime because of well, it's dangerous, to be frank. So anyways, but when because of that hill, what you're going to notice is you're going to start seeing a lot of these properties in this area have incredible views. Typically the views are going to be on the properties at the south side of the street. For anybody that's watching that's not sure which way south is, whoops, no, wrong way. South is this way. So south is kind of down towards the bottom of the screen. So anything on the south side of these roads is going to start to get some pretty nice views. Right around kind of, probably around Roper or even Thrift Street, which is right here. that's where it's flat, and it's really flat, all the way up to 16th and past 16th for the most part. You start to get more of the hill kind of as you go down this Roper area here, and so a lot of these properties in this area are going to have some pretty nice views on them for the most part, especially if they're on the south side of the street. So if we end up jumping onto really any property that you might see in these areas, let's just pick a random street here. Buena Vista means good view, this one right here. So, but we won't go to Buena Vista. Let's jump on Victoria as an example. And I know obviously a lot of these properties have really nice views, but you can imagine, if you're on the south side of the street, you can see the ocean really, really quite well from any of these properties. Let's zip a little bit further up the road here. Those are some condos, really old condominiums over there. I've always loved them because they would have really nice views. But like, look at the view that these people would have. A lot of the time, the south properties are completely unobstructed as well, meaning there's no power lines running right in front of the home. Whereas you're not going to get that on the north side. So there's always going to be these power lines typically running east to west on a lot of these properties, and that can really affect the price points. So like this person right here, as an example, they're still going to get a little bit of a view, but they're obviously looking at these power lines, which is going to just be an obstruction that people may consider when they're purchasing. So you can see how close you are to the beach there as well. So anything kind of in this area is usually going to have a pretty nice view. Definitely a nice place to live. Not super walkable though. So if you're somebody that's maybe a little bit older, has mobility issues and that sort of thing, albeit it's not big hills, but they are relatively steep. So that's something you're probably going to want to take into consideration. As we look around here, if we go back a little bit, maybe further up into the flatter area, and this is certainly a more flat area of White Rock. This is in and around where a lot of the schools are. So you've got 2 elementary schools in the area. You got White Rock Elementary. Oh, I wasn't looking to do text. I was looking to do this. You got White Rock Elementary right there. Okay, and you've also got Peace Arch Elementary, which is right here. So those are the only 2 elementary schools in the area. I'll touch on those in a moment, but this area up here, tends to be relatively flat. Again, you get very mixed type homes in here. I would say for the most part, they are older style homes, especially if the homes in this flatter area are running, the streets are running north-south, because you're not going to get a view. Okay, so you can see how flat it really is in these areas. And this particular street just completely picked at random. Oh, there's one behind us. But you can see for the most part, the homes haven't necessarily been upgraded or renovated. A lot of people are typically trying to get onto the streets that run east-west, so they get a north-south facing view, or they're going to go further down the hill to where the the slope really starts. And you can see it kind of almost at the end of the road here, where the slope really starts to go down there. So more so older homes in this flatter area, but really nice for walkability. If you like to get out and walk the dog and have a little bit of a nice walk and that sort of thing, you're certainly not going to go wrong in that area. The last kind of places I want to mention here before we move on is what I call the flats. Whether that's really the name of them or not, there is no name to them as far as I understand. But I really, really love this area. I call it the flats because, well, you guessed it, it's flat. And it's just one of those areas that's incredibly close to the beach, but you're not dealing with the hills. So Parker Street here is a great example. And these lots tend to be a little bit smaller in this area. But for Parker Street here, had a good client who bought a house at the end of the road there. But anyways, we'll skip looking at that and just kind of, really nice and walkable, right? So relatively flat, still good for walking the dog and that sort of thing. And look, you end up right on Marine Drive. There's actually the WAG restaurant, which is awesome. If you're visiting White Rock, you're going to want to check that place out. They've got really, really good food. And then of course, you can see we're on Marine Drive. But yeah, you can see the slopes here are really not that bad. A little bit of a hill to get up Lee Street there, and then it relatively is flat for a couple blocks here. So nice area. That's kind of what I call the flats. There's a lot of again, very mixed neighborhood, but you got a lot of these kind of old beach cottages. White Rock, its history was old beach cottages. So that's largely what's there, and they tend to actually be relatively affordable when you're talking in terms of White Rock prices and whatnot, which we can certainly we can jump into that a little bit later as well. So you got the flats there, and then that's really kind of the extent of it that I wanted to show you. Really, really nice neighborhood. You do have actually I lied. Let me show you one more. You do have kind of these areas right here, Parker and Kent, and all these sort of things as well. These are actually quite hilly. So any of these properties that are running, again, the streets are running north-south sort of thing. Look at the slope there. So you're starting to see a lot of people, and this isn't a new thing, but they're building these homes, and you can see how much of a view these guys would have over top of this rancher beside them. But you can see as the further you get up the hill, some of these properties on these streets that run this direction are getting some pretty nice views as well. So that's another area you could certainly consider. So anyways, that is kind of the real estate aspect of things. Why don't we talk about prices real quick? And of course, this is relevant as of the time of filming this video. But detached homes right now in the city of White Rock proper, I'm not talking about South Surrey, I'm not talking about other areas, I'm talking about White Rock specifically. The benchmark price for detached homes finishing the month of December was about 1.85. If you're talking about townhomes in the area, and there's not a lot of townhomes in White Rock to be honest, there's not a lot of available land. When you do see townhomes, they tend to be in areas that really are smaller, so that there's smaller developments. Maybe there's only 4, 6, 8, that sort of thing. So you don't tend to see the big developments for townhomes in the area. But the benchmark price for townhomes, nonetheless, is 956 as of the end of the year, and for apartments, you are at about 616. Now, with apartments, that's always an interesting one, and I'll tell you the reason why that's interesting is because a lot of the apartments can be very old. A lot of the apartments can have a beautiful view, and a lot of the apartments can be senior orientated, 55 plus, which tends to sell for less. So you've got an interesting mix there. You've got really expensive condominiums that have beautiful views, and there's even some really, really nice ones on Marine Drive. As I'm scrolling here, I'm trying to remember. I think they're right around here. I'll see if I can find them while I'm talking, but nonetheless, there's some really, really expensive ones, really beautiful ones on Marine Drive that you could, where did this take me? This is way down the wrong end of the beach. Anyways, yeah, so you got view properties, you got older properties, and you got a lot of senior occupied properties. The reason you've got a lot of senior occupied properties in the area is twofold. You've got Peace Arch Hospital right here. Peace Arch Hospital, it's not a big hospital, but obviously for anybody, that's maybe a senior or anything like that, it's nice to live near this. It's easy access. They do a really good job putting on, good medical services and emergency services for people that need it. So I've even had one of my kids born at this hospital, which was kind of neat. So you've got this, which a lot of people really, really like living near. But more so, you've got this Semiahmoo Town Center shopping area. So as I had mentioned, I didn't want to get into South Surrey, nor am I going to get into South Surrey, but 16th right here is actually the border for South Surrey and White Rock. So if I zoom out a little bit, you can obviously see why they would share so much, because White Rock is kind of surrounded by South Surrey. You can't escape it, right? So with South Surrey, This is a large part of the White Rock experience, living in the Semiahmoo Town Center area. And thus what ends up happening is you tend to have a lot of senior orientated buildings, not only on the South Surrey side, but also on the White Rock side, basically in this little circle. It's relatively flat, so it's easy to walk to, but it's a great area too, because it's just got so much stuff. Without doing a full tour of what the mall looks like for you. But as an example, we want to look this way. Let's see if this takes us into the parking lot here. So you've got one of the bigger grocery stores in the South Surrey White Rock Peninsula here as Save On Foods. But you can see a Winners in the background, but this is Semiahmoo Town Center, and it is a very senior orientated mall as well, but they do have some good stores in there. There's a liquor store there, but there's also been some kind of not cleanups, the right way of saying it, but they've done a good job of adding some more modern stuff in the last little while as well. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a different view of it here onto 152nd Street, which is right there. So they've been putting in some more stuff over the years, depending on when Google last updated this. But Sapporo Kitchen, great place. That's where we always order our sushi from. You got Brown's restaurant right here. This building did make it. So this is still under construction as of the day of filming this. So this must be relatively recent when they last went through here. There is a great pub on the corner here called Sawbuck. So if you ever are in town, you want to check that out. But you can continue to buzz down 152nd in South Surrey and see all of the services that are down there. But I said we're only going to do White Rock, so we're going to zip back into the White Rock side here. Now, this area right here, you can see all of the shops and stuff like that. It's kind of a neat little area that's going to be developing more and more as time goes on. You can see a development building or development center, sales center rather. Kind of sitting on the side there, but yeah, this area was actually owned. This craft tap house was owned by a brewery previously, who actually moved just down the road here. So you do have some nice brewery experiences in addition to the nice restaurants. The Wooden Spoon is a great restaurant, which is just right here. If you're ever in town, you definitely want to check that out, especially for breakfast. You've got White Rock Brewing right here, which is makes incredible beer. There's actually another brewing company going down in this area called Galaxy. But way in this little corner here, I don't know if you can see that well. Oh, they're going to let us come down here. So this is one of my favorite spots to visit on the weekend. And it's right in this building right here. It's called Three Dogs Brewing. So this, no one's sitting on the patio on this day, but it's over 2 levels and they do an incredible job. They've got not only, great snacks and really good atmosphere, good entertainment on some nights as well, but the beer is absolutely phenomenal. You can fill up a growler and that sort of thing. So if you like to have a beer once in a while, that's a really cool spot to go. So that's primarily where a lot of the seniors are going to live because of all of the accessible things in that area. Since we're kind of on the topic of what shopping and whatnot is available, those are really the biggest areas that you're going to find. As we continue down 152nd, this actually turns into a road called Johnson, but you can see all these really cool little shops on the side here. And it's a very popular area to go around. You can see it's not too much of a slope either, so it's easy to walk along. This is right here, Grounds and Greens, one of my absolute favorite restaurants in all of White Rock, probably the one we frequent the most. It is 100% vegan. In fact, me and my wife are both vegan, and we absolutely love it. They're just incredibly nice people. The food is unbelievable. It's always clean. Service is always great, so check them out if you have an opportunity. Further down Johnson Road here, you've got Indian food, you've got Asian food. There's a computer shop if you need to get a computer fix. Yucca Tree Cafe has been here for forever and is a local favorite. You definitely want to check out when you're in town if you're available to do so. We're going to buzz past the thrift store here. You can see on this side we're starting to get into some yoga and some kind of like smaller studio type things here, hair studios and whatnot. Incredible Thai food once was here, but now it's a fish and chips place. And obviously being vegan, I haven't had fish and chips, but I'm sure they're good. Howe's Market has been there for absolutely ever. And I'm still on Johnson Road here, and bear with me because I'm going to show you where I'm taking you here. But you still got all these little shops on the side here. Down on the corner right here, elementary school on the left. On the right, this is Island Cafe, owned by a friend of mine, and they do an awesome job. Their coffee's really cool. There's a cool story behind the Island Cafe. So pay them a visit and go have a nice cup of coffee, and you'll be able to see what's going on there. This area that I was bringing you to is called Five Corners. Funny enough, I was counting it the other day and I didn't count 5 corners. I only count 4. So where it got its name, I'll have to do a little bit of research on that. But really popular area. You can see it's right before the hill starts to kind of slide down towards the ocean there. But there's tons and tons of shops in every direction that you can see here. There is certainly a local favorite just down here. Damiano's makes good pizza, but Five Corners Cafe is actually what I was referring to. So another hot spot for the locals that you're going to want to check out. And then just down on this side, there's a couple things I'll bring your attention to here. One is not Damiano's, I just showed you that. Barrique is really good, but that's not what I was going to show you. Just right here, Emilio Finati. I don't even know how to say it necessarily, but Emilio Finati's Pizza. Local favorite. Once you try it, you won't go back type thing. So give it a try if you're visiting White Rock and you really like pizza, which really who doesn't like pizza, right? And look at this place, Laura's Coffee Corner. Look how busy it is on when a lot of these other places we've been trying to check out haven't even had people standing in front of them necessarily. But this place is always busy. They got awesome baked goods, awesome food, awesome coffee, and it's just kind of a popular local little coffee shop that everybody loves. So there's somebody even running across the street to go get some coffee. So anyways, check that out too. That and Islands Coffee, you're going to absolutely love them. So that's a little bit about the shopping. You've obviously got shopping as well down on Marine Drive. Marine Drive is very busy in the summer. It's quite quiet in the winter. So depending on when you're visiting or when you're relocating down here. Oh, that's not where I dropped our little guy. How did that happen? Let's spin around and try that again. So we're going to try and get on Marine Drive here because I want to show you kind of what's on the strip. So the strip is relatively long. I actually don't have the measurements on how long it is, but this is kind of the area where the commercial really begins. I'm going towards the west right now, but you can see there's tons of food options, whether it's ice cream, gelato. There is lots of fine dining. There's lots of, kind of more casual type stuff. And there's lots of touristy shops as well. There's not really any, grocery type stores or anything like that. So nobody's really walking down here to go do their, their weekly grocery shopping or anything like that. But it also has a lot of kind of premier restaurants that people absolutely love. This boathouse right here has got a beautiful patio on the top level that's got unobstructed views of the water, so that's a really, really popular place in the summertime. Cow's Ice Cream, you got to go visit Cow's Ice Cream. There's tons of places actually on the beach here to get ice cream, but a couple local favorites: Jan's on the Beach, the Ocean Beach Hotel, or now it's called the Ocean Beach rather, but I remember it as the Ocean Beach Hotel. There's a long story there that I can tell you one day if I ever see you. Charlie's. Awesome local staple. This is where people absolutely love to go. So we're on what's called West Beach right now. You can see there's more restaurants, all different types of food that you could very, very happy with. Five Corners, great restaurant. Oolie's, great restaurant right there. Didn't want to miss those for you. And then there's some newer kind of stuff up here. But as I go up this hill, let's see if we can move this a little bit quicker. We're kind of at the crest of the hill. We're going over West Beach now at this point, and we're headed over to what is called, let's see if I can move this. Yeah, there we go. So now we're at the very top of the hill. You can imagine what some of the views look like for some of these people that live right on there. But as we run down here, we're headed over to East Beach. And East Beach, a little bit quieter. The tide tends to go out further in this area too, so it's more of a better place for families, I would say. You see how far the tide's out on this particular day, and it actually goes out way further than that. But once we get past all this residential, you're going to have some more commercial start. This is perfect for going for a walk. You can see the beautiful promenade here. You go from end to end of the beach. And as we get down to this area, you're going to see some of the commercial start up again. So some of the more famous fish and chip places in the area, there is Moby Dick's, which is pretty popular, and I want to say it's world known. And you've also got Coney Island, Zapotec. I haven't had an opportunity to eat there yet, but there's Coney Island kind of hiding right there. But those are all incredibly popular. You'll always find them lined up, whether it's winter, summer, it doesn't really matter. People will grab their fish and chips and run down to the beach. And you've got, ice cream shops again. You've got a liquor store there. You've got some of the, smaller restaurants and that sort of thing, a little more boutique places and whatnot. But you can run all the way down to the end of Marine Drive, and you can see you just got tons and tons of good options. This is actually another place I haven't tried yet right here. It's called Finley's. I don't know why that's being blurred out. Interesting, but anyways, that's kind of the shopping options out there. Now, some of the other places that you might run to, you've got the Semi-Ami Shopping Center, you got along Marine Drive, you got the Five Corners area down Johnson that I had showed you. And if you are a White Rock resident, you also might be running over to what's called Ocean Park right here. Not a huge area, but they do have a Safeway there, so you may consider going there for your groceries among other places. But I'll just do a kind of a spin around here in the main area. This is some of the best pizza in town you will ever have. I even worked here as a teenager. Ocean Park Pizza and Village Pub. Unbelievable. Chan's is a great fresh fruit market up here. But again, we're all in the city of South Surrey here now. But you can see it's just a really big shopping area. Tons of stuff that you can kind of go check out being a White Rock resident, which is really cool. So, all right, we've covered some of the stuff that I really wanted you to see. The only other thing, I want to show you this as well. So White Rock, it's interesting because it's actually serviced. Believe it or not, if you have kids, it's serviced by 5 elementary schools. So let's see if we can zoom in on this and make it a little bit better here. So White Rock, just to give you a little bit of an idea, this is called Bergstrom Road right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Let's maybe get our little trusty new tool out. So this is Bergstrom Road right here, okay? And that's White Rock's border. This is White Rock's border all the way down to 160th Street, which is right here, okay? So you can see that we've actually got 5 elementary schools servicing this area, and you've got 3 high schools. So if you end up in this area, you know, there's Bergstrom right there. You could have a kid, oh, wrong way. You could have a kid going to Ray Shepherd. If you live in this area right here, you could have a kid going to Bay Ridge. If you live in this area, you got HT Thrift, you got White Rock Elementary, and you've got Peace Arch Elementary, okay? And again, White Rock ends on State Railroad 160th here. If you've got kids that are in the high school catchments, which are the blue lines here, Elgin Park, this is actually where I went to high school many years ago. If you kind of end up in this little pocket of White Rock that's captured there, Semiahmoo right here, so anywhere in that area, and then you've got Earl Marriott right there. So those are the schools that you're gonna kind of find your kids going to if you relocate to the area. Other than that, is really the extent of what I wanted to show you. I think what we'll maybe finish with is just taking you right back to where it all starts. You know, this is the White Rock Museum. Not that I want to show you a bunch of pictures of the museum. That's not why I highlighted that for you. So let's get out of that. But more so, you know, you're moving to White Rock because it's a beachside community. It's just absolutely beautiful, and it's an area I think anybody would be absolutely lucky to call home. So I didn't find you the best shot at White Rock here, but anyways, nonetheless, that's the tour of the area. So certainly, if you have any questions about the area, what it's like to live there, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a playlist specific to the city of White Rock where you can tell us about all the great reasons to live there, some of the reasons that we maybe don't like living there, and just everything we're to do with White Rock. So don't forget to check that out. Don't forget to ask us anything in the comments, and anybody that's local that watches our channel as well will help answer any of the questions that you have, including myself. And if you are someone that's looking to relocate to the area, feel free to either send us an email or send us a text, and we'd love to help you find a great area for you and your family when you do decide to relocate to White Rock. So don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications whenever each new video comes out, and we will definitely look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers.